All right, you guys, we are live at 5. Welcome to Pure Dog Talks live podcast. I am your host, Laura Reeves. We have a super fun guest for you guys tonight. Alan Cook is the inventor of the Brilliant Pad, following the success of his scoop free self cleaning litter box. Check it. And Alan's joining us tonight to talk about how this groundbreaking product can not only keep your puppies cleaner, but help you make a few extra bucks. And as a breeder myself, I can say a few extra bucks is always going to come in handy. So, while everybody's hopping on, a couple items for the good of the order. First of all, don't forget we have a new swag store on the website, puredogtalk.com. Got some super cool merch available. Patrons have a built-in discount, so there's another reason for you to join our patrons group, y'all. Second of all, don't forget, somebody mentioned to me a couple weeks ago, Auntie Laura's Beginner's Guide to Show Dogs, our ebook, audiobook, is always available on the book tab at the website. And remember our archives access. I've done all the searching and hunting and pecking for you, and the still introductory price, so you guys got to know that's going to be going away pretty soon, right? Only $1.99. You can download an entire album on specific topics like breeding and whelping hands-on, interviews with all of the most amazing people in our sport, veterinary voice, owner handlers, our Love the Breed series, and a lot more. And as always, our success is your success. If you haven't yet, please do check out our exclusive patrons group. You can sign up and get the regular contact with yours truly for as little as $10 a month. I mean, for any of the available options for mentoring and insight and valuable skill sets, that's the price of a couple drinks at your favorite coffee stand, and that's for a month. So your passion is our purpose. And now I welcome Alan. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me today.
I am so excited for you to join us. I love my little brilliant pad. It is my happiest place. So I know you have a little bit of a presentation for us, and I want people to get a chance to watch that. But give us a really, really quick 411 how you came to this place, because it's kind of a cool story.
So we got to Brilliant Pad after somehow becoming the masters of cat poop. A bunch of years ago, we had a transformative experience with a dirty litter box and went to go one of those automatic self-cleaning contraptions to make the mess go away. And we were really bummed when it didn't work. So we scratched our heads and said, "Hey, what can we do?" And some way, somehow, we came up with something that actually worked. So, despite a background in software and technology and other things, we created the first automatic self cleaning litter box that was generally regarded as working really well and being easier and more convenient than doing it the old way.
Love it.
So,
And so now
yeah.
you translated it to puppy poopy. I
Well,
mean, come on. It's
After
perfect.
doing that, we thought, hey, last time cats, what's next? How about dogs?
Cats
It
and
should be
dogs.
easier the second time around. And Laura, let me tell you, boy, were we wrong.
Well, I can see that there's some different angles to consider here. So I think it's really important. Everybody, I use my Brilliant Pad. I used it for litter puppies. I use it for an elderly Chihuahua and her elderly guardian. Sometimes can't get her outside in time. So I know it works, and Alan has some really cool ideas. And I just really think that there's a lot here. So Alan, I'm going to let you take this and run with it, and we'll have some questions, you guys, Q&A after a really short presentation from Alan talking about some of the ways that you can make this work for you.
Awesome. And while I know you have been using it and having great experience, I'm not sure if everyone listening in is as familiar with it. So I
Yep.
thought, let me just explain what is Brilliant Pad. And it is a puppy pad for small dogs that cleans itself. And the best way to think about it, like those litter boxes for cats, why should they have all the fun? Why should the dogs be left out? So we have this thing that is looks like a puppy pad, works like a puppy pad, but unlike a regular one, when it is soiled and messy, the mess goes away at the touch of a button. So if you're a breeder, this way of keeping your whelping area and your dog area cleaner and more hygienic. Breeders save a tremendous amount of time related to keeping everything clean. And it gives your puppies a head start on potty training. And we'll talk about how that increases the value of your dogs later on. And, just to kind of see it rather than talk about it, here's what it looks like. It measures a couple of feet long by a couple of feet wide, and it's motorized. And after it is soiled, instead of dealing with, pads thrown every which way, you can either tap a button on the machine or your phone, and all the yucky stuff gets rolled away. And it can be used by more than one puppy at a time. There's a whole bunch of accessories that let the littlest of dogs get up on the machine easily. And we have a bunch of breeders that now bundle Brilliant Pad with their puppies. So when they send their little guys home, they're going home potty trained. And what's been really exciting for us is breaking news is we just got picked up by Revival.
Love it.
So Revival has Brilliant Pad, its replacement rolls, and all the accessories. And Dr. Marty Greer is a huge fan because it keeps everything cleaner and more hygienic. And you know how she says every poop tells a story, and it's really the biggest clue if your dog is healthy or sick. And this Brilliant Pad one not only lets you see it, the machine actually has poop AI. Forget ChatGPT. We got poop AI. And we can tell you if the pad not only is clean or dirty or soiled with liquids or solids, this system does a Bristol analysis on the stool and will wave a flag if there are signs of dehydration or soft stool.
Mhm.
And they'll be detecting more issues in the future too. But at the end of the day, it's a tremendous tool for both you and your customers to keep your puppies healthy. So, with that, separate from using it to keep everything clean and saving a huge amount of time, our breeders use Brilliant Pad and send it home with the dogs in the simplest terms to make more money. Their goal is to make more money with every puppy, and they continue to get paid after those puppies go home. So, the three ways that breeders make money with puppy is either including Brilliant Pad with the dogs. There's a series of offers we could that breeders share with their former customers. Because guess what? When they get their next dog, they want them to come back to you. So we can give you some materials that help you stay in touch with not only your new customers but your old ones. And generally, breeders that use Brilliant Pad love it, and they make money by even referring their friends. So I thought I can give you an overview of these three programs, and then we can take Q&A from there. How does that sound?
Perfect.
So the reason breeders send puppies home with Brilliant Pad is, look, when the puppy moves to a new home, like their entire world has changed, and it's freak out city. So if you provide something that they're familiar with, you're going to lower their stress when they transition to a new space. And when we talk to breeders, the biggest question they tell us they support, well, generally, is the puppy available? And then after they sell it, how do I train it?
Right.
And using Brilliant Pad as part of the transition process dramatically shortens the potty training process. And we're not going to promise the dog is going home 100% potty trained, but if you continue what the breeder has started, your dog is on the fastest track to potty training success.
Yep.
So, in order to send puppies home with Brilliant Pad, there's two ways you can do it. In some cases, breeders buy Brilliant Pad from us. There's a special wholesale rate, and we drop ship and ship direct to the customer's home. So there's no codes to forget. People say they're going to buy all the stuff when the puppy comes home. And sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. This takes the randomness out of the equation. And we make it just really simple. You come to a little portal, you give us the 411, we ship it to their door, and really that's it. We take care of all the headache and hassle. You don't have to worry about stocking inventory or big bulky stuff. All you really have to do is tell your client, just give them a heads up what they're going to receive, and remind them to set up a subscription for the replacement rolls, because not only will they be happy with a potty trained dog, and will you be able to charge more for those puppies? Because most customers tell us for every dollar they spend on Brilliant Pad, they raise their prices by $2 or more.
Mm.
And when that customer buys replacement rolls, the breeder continues to get paid. So it's more money when the puppy goes home, and it's continue to get paid thereafter. We send a bunch of emails out so people know what they're going to get and what to do with it and how to potty train their dog. And it sends them to a website that's really easy to follow that explains what this wonderful thing is and what to do with it. And we try to boil down the potty training process to 3 easy steps. And the first one begins before the puppy gets home. Just
Yeah.
simply, we know you're going to be all excited, but step one is let's get ready before the chaos ensues. And step two, instead of like free ranging or letting your puppy go free range on day one, introduce them to the training space that you set up. You got the bed, you got some food and water, and you got the potty. And then step three is you're going to bring them back to that training space from time to time throughout the day. Most people can understand these 3 easy steps. Your customers don't need a PhD in Caesar Milan to get this right. So again, there's the machine, and then there's the replacement rolls. And for those who aren't ready to take the step to buy and include it with their puppies, there's a referral program,
Mhm.
and just add it to your go home checklist or the website. We find for best results, it's best to point this out when you're collecting deposits or payments on the puppy. And we found a lot of folks like send pictures and videos to their customers throughout the process. A lot of them call out, "Hey, look at the puppy stepping up on Brilliant Pad. Look how they're using it. You're going to get one too." Or I recommend that you get one for your new puppy. There's some just natural ways to incorporate it into your communication stream. We also can send some emails that encourage them what to do, or if you're encouraging your customer to buy a Brilliant Pad for your own puppy, there's a whole bunch of materials we can share that you can text your customer, share on social, and kind of continue it. And there's really nice landing pages that are just not just what is this thing, but
Mhm.
why do you want this thing for your new puppy? And we find when people learn they can accelerate the potty training process, they get
Yeah.
super duper excited.
Well, and I think, Alan, there's a couple things that are really important to me too. And I don't mean to interrupt, but I think it's really important that people think about the fact that housebreaking is one of the major reasons that people don't keep pets, and not being able to housebreak their dogs. And teaching your puppy to use this in the litter and then transitioning it in its new home, it's not to say your dog's never going to potty outside. It's to say that when you're at work for 8 hours and your puppy is contained, the puppy has a place to go that's easy to manage, and you can use it to transition a dog into going outside if if it's a larger dog. And I just think that it's important for people to think about some of these details.
And what's remarkable, I'm going to just jump ahead for a moment of why some people shares with their former customers,
Mhm.
because we have some really surprising information of who uses Brilliant Pad.
Mhm.
And it's not just, I'm just going to go ahead. It's not just those people that live in a condo or an apartment. Nearly 70% of our customers live in a home with a big backyard. They actually have a lot of space, but they use it because, especially small dogs who have
Mhm.
small bladders,
Mhm.
even when you take them outside morning and night, they still go throughout the day. And think about it. What if I got really mean, came into your home and padlocked your bathroom in the middle of the day? You would say, dude, that's goofy. Like
No
this, no.
bueno.
But why should it be any different for your puppies, right? And the other thing is we also find when, even for the larger breeds, a lot
Mhm.
of breeders tell us they want the dog to stay inside for a period of time. I want the vaccines to kick in. I want the immune system to be strong enough to handle the sidewalk in the dog park.
Mhm.
There's a whole bunch of reasons that the dog is going to stay inside for a period of time. Brilliant Pad gives your customers a chance to like provide a designated potty spot to follow your instructions. And the nice thing is you don't have to deal with something where when people think of puppy pads, you got, a big old mess. Who wants to deal with that? This
Yeah.
instead no, makes the mess go away, wraps and seals everything to keep it clean, and does it in such a way that it doesn't smell.
No,
Um,
I'm telling you guys, zero, zero odor. I had a litter of 10 Spinoni, zero odor. It was amazing.
So, like, we're really excited that for all of these, even for the people that live in the condos and apartments, we have customers that have older clients that they can't get outside as easily as they want to. And they're the greatest pet parents. They take wonderful care of those dogs. But why should a health issue or a living situation, really impede their ability to enjoy having a pet? Brilliant Pet actually steps in and makes that possible. Um, and it's not just for potty training or during transition, it can be for just that. But
Mhm.
there's also a portion of dogs that use Brilliant Pet throughout their entire life. And what the breeders who kind of like promote this to their former customers, it gives them a chance to stay in touch with their former customers. So when they need a dog in the future, they remember you and they're going to come. No, you should be the first place they go to shop for their new puppy. And then we have some additional materials that are less about accelerating potty training, but for the portion of your customers that are using puppy pads, why
Mhm.
use a dirty one that you have to handle all the messy bits when you can upgrade to an automatic one that cleans itself?
Yeah.
So the whole reason that people, again, so we have a bunch of emails, texts, social, and stuff that allow you to keep your relationship warm with your former customers. And the same thing happens if they buy a machine, you earn a percentage. They buy replacement rolls, you continue to collect commission and build an annuity that'll grow over time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and I think too, Alan, one of the things that you and I have talked about in the past is that I really am constantly impressed by the actual work that you guys are able to take off of me, right? In terms of as a breeder, right? Your email marketing is amazing. And that's just a chunk then that I don't have to do because those emails are coming out from you guys. They're staying in touch with you and it comes back to me in that way.
What we hear from other breeders is there's a whole bunch of work that goes into running the breeding operation. And some of it's cleaning, some of it's administration.
Not
But
just
these
some
are
of it.
all things that are not doing the dog. And what's the most important part? It's the puppies. So if you can outsource that other stuff to someone like us,
Mhm.
that frees up a tremendous amount of time that you can redeploy more constructively in your business.
Yep, absolutely.
So, and then with the same programs that we have for customers, there's some additional materials to share with your breeder friends. Most of our customers are referred by another breeder. We know a lot of people, whether it be in their clubs of the same breed or their friends that have different businesses, it's been remarkable to us to learn how supportive this community is with each other, how best practices are shared, and people are kind of referring this to their friends anyway, whether there be a program behind it or not. But we also do provide an incentive that if you believe in this and you're going to share it with your friends, there's a way of tying that to some additional compensation as well.
That's good. Like I said, breeding dogs in a healthy and constructive way does not generally make you a ton of money. So finding ways to do it that help, that's always a good thing.
So, and we're just really excited that through all of these things, again, Brilliant Pad helps you save time keeping your dog areas clean. There's an opportunity and a value proposition around bundling Brilliant Pad with the puppies, or at least encouraging your customers to buy it to make that
Mhm.
transition home easier on the dog. It's going to help your customer potty train that dog, which lets your dog stand out from the others. People pay a huge amount to train their dog. Why should they pay someone else when potentially they could be paying you for the same service? And with the Poop AI and all the other features of the machine, you're able to help your customers pay attention to the things you care about most to protect the health of the dog, not just when they're a puppy, but throughout their entire life. So, with that,
Perfect.
there's a lot of, and I think there's I know we've covered a lot of ground. I'm looking forward to answering questions. But if you just simply go to the Brilliant Pad website and click on Pro Portal in the upper right corner, you will gain access to all the materials that support everything we've discussed so far about using Brilliant Pad, sending it home with the puppies, and the different ways of referring it to your former customers or your breeder friends. And if you put your mouse pointer on top of Portal and hover, a menu is going to appear with a lot more stuff. And then we're not going to go through it now, but I think it becomes fairly self-explanatory of how to learn how to use it, how to send it home with the puppies, all the different flavors and forms of sharing. You can get to everything related to our Pro Portal in one spot.
Beautiful.
And I think with that, we're excited that we're excited that we just launched on Revival, but we
Yep.
also have a special offer for Laura's um, listeners here through brilliantpad.com/pure dog talk. No
Yep.
code is required if you go to this link.
Screenshot this, guys. Screenshot it.
Fantastic. And you'll find there's two benefits. One, it's $50 off, $50 less than you buy elsewhere, and you get two additional puppy pad rolls at no
Perfect.
extra charge.
Perfect. I love that. Since I just ordered my my new rolls for my Tissue app.
And we'll talk
Well,
and if you need to reach me or our team, there's real live human beings here in the United States that can help you answer questions related to but no, questions about the system itself, how to set it up, introduce it to your puppies, send it home with the dogs. The list goes on. But here's no this the other thing I would suggest screenshotting with our contact info. And
yeah.
call, text. You can send smoke signals, but texting is going to have the fastest response.
Smoke signals will take a minute, because I think y'all are out there in Illinois or something. But
Mhm.
awesome. Well, and you guys, here's a couple things, and I mentioned some of these earlier while Ellen was talking, but truly and honestly, I think it is so important that folks take a minute to think about. I understand you don't want your dogs to always potty in the house, but your puppy buyers aren't necessarily going to have the same availability that you do. And they may have to go to work and they're going to have a pen set up in the laundry room or the kitchen or what have you. And this is a really, really, really simple, clean, handy way for those people to have a very positive experience with their dog, which is what we want, right? Like we want our puppy buyers to think their dogs are geniuses, and we are geniuses for having bred them. And so this is a great tool. It really is a very, very cool tool. So, Natalie, do we have anybody out there in listener land with a specific question that we can answer. Okay. Well, we're waiting for specific questions from listener land. Um, Ellen, talk to us a little bit about, because some of the, like, I am not technologically advanced. Okay. I am a complete Luddite, but some of the things that you guys have with this product are so freaking cool. So the talk us a little bit through some of the tech pieces that aren't just what I do, which is push a button.
Well, let's start with push the button because I think it's
Okay.
important to
Okay.
anchor, right? After the dog goes and soils the pad, you can
Yep.
walk up to the machine and press a
Yep.
button to
Well,
advance it. And the dirty stuff is rolled up and
mhm.
replaced with a clean pad.
Yep.
Now you can do it by pressing the button on the machine or tapping a button on your phone.
Just
So there's an app that it's
there's an
free with
app for that. Come on, man.
there's an app for everything. Now, I fortunately I can't help you with the wipe. That's a separate thing. But in terms of in terms of rolling it up, you can come on the app and press one button. There's a camera, so you can see if that pad is clean or dirty. Because
Mhm.
sometimes you want it all clean all the time.
Right.
Sometimes there's a lot of dogs going on. There's a lot of activity, right? And you just want to maybe you'll wait for the morning rush to subside after breakfast and clean at 9:30 or 10 o'clock. You'll do it once in the afternoon, once in the early evening. So you can look and see and then
Mhm.
decide for yourself and press a button to clean,
Mhm.
or you can set it to advance automatically. And you can
Mhm.
set it to advance automatically based on a certain number of dog visits. You can set a schedule. Let's clean at 10, 3, and 7. Or
Mhm.
you can choose the days and times. And then we have the AI Smart Advance that you can say advance after some amount of pees or poops.
Mm.
And there's some additional functionality coming in the future. So
Right.
you can press the button, you can do it through the app, or you can set it automatically. Because we
Right.
learned a lot of people, a lot of preferences. The app
Mhm.
lets you tap a couple of things or slide a couple of things to make the system work the way that you want for your dogs.
Well, and I think too, I will ask a question that I remember asking you when we first were talking about this. I'm like, I don't want it to just advance automatically because it might roll up my puppy. And once you actually see it, that's not really possible, but still talk about that a little bit.
So there's sensors. So there's a lot of other technology like under the surface that we don't want it to get in the way of what you do or have to read a really lengthy instruction manual. That said, we advance the pad, or we know that if there's a dog on the machine, not because of the camera, but there's actually an infrared sensor. So it knows the dog is present or the dog is not. So it's time to press the button to turn on the motor, and
Mhm,
there's someone in the way.
mhm.
There's an invisible beam that knows that and will say, "Yo, can't turn on the motor right now. We got to wait till the coast is clear."
See, you guys, that's so cool. I
So the other thing
mean,
is
it's not very
because there's a
often the
camera.
technology comes to dogdom. You have to understand. I mean, we
Well, this was our background. We were in the software
right,
world
right, right,
before that crazy experience with the dirty litter box 20 plus years ago. And that's
right.
how we Forrest Gumped into creating amazing products for pets. We did the cat thing. I don't know if you ever see those like laser lights that like it looks like a bowling pin and it waves the laser light around the room. We created that too. So we did all the Frolic Cat electronic pet toys. And then we've done some other random stuff that has nothing to do with pets.
I
Um,
love it. So
so
Lydia has a
yeah.
quick question. She said her sound cut out, so we're re-answering a question. But if anybody missed this one, you can continue to make money after you sell the puppy. It's a kickback. So talk about that. Kind of rehash that a little bit in terms of people either sending the pad home with their puppy buyers or some of those options that then give a financial kickback, I guess is easy a way, commission, right? How we say that politely.
So there's several different flavors of the machine, and it's 200, 300, or $400 for the machine. And if you encourage your customer to buy their own,
Mhm.
you get a fixed amount for different amount. It works like 7, 10% depending on
Yeah.
the level of the machine. So you get like 10, 25, or $50 if you sell the basic, the smart, or the pro. So again, you encourage your customers to buy their own, get 10, 25, or $50 when they buy the system, plus 7% of all the replacement rolls, replace training sprays, or any of the other accessories. So, for example, sometimes people buy the smart machine. They're like, wow, I heard about all this cool other stuff. They don't have to buy a whole new machine. We have a little module that you can, you know, take the old one off, put a new one in its place, and now you get the camera, the Wi-Fi, and all the other smart stuff. So
So you can
the 7%, I'm
upgrade.
saying, so that's what we mean by accessories. If they buy anything else, you still get paid on anything they do in the future. Now, that said, most breeders that do encourage their customers to buy Brilliant Pad have kind of said, time out, I don't want to do that anymore. And I want to do something else that's better. And what's better is the breeder says, too many people told me they were going to buy it. Then life happened. They got busy and they didn't.
Mhm.
So what
Mhm.
they do instead is they go to our wholesale website, the no, or and they can buy the basic or the smart machine at a substantially lower price than the sales price minus the commission, and then they give it to their customer, or they add it to the price of their dog, saying, "Hey, you spend
Mhm.
X dollars on a dog, you're getting this for
Right.
the basic shots and care, this and that." And or some other breeders say, "I'm going to raise the price of my dog," and
Mhm.
if they pay us 150 or $200 for something, they're typically raising the price for a dog between 300, 400, or $500,
Mhm.
and all that difference in margin is kept by the breeder. So if you don't want to go out of pocket, you get 10, 25, or $50 per system sold. If you buy from us and give to your customer or raise the price somehow, usually they're making an additional one, two, or $300 per dog.
Mhm. And if you remind me how this works, because I'm not very good at it. If you send that system home with your puppy and that person then orders replacement rolls for it, you get a percentage of those replacement rolls, or here's the spray to put on the pad to tell the puppy, remind it this is where it's supposed to go, all that stuff, right?
Yes, and you end up getting on the order of like $1 a roll. The average
Mhm.
customer goes through about 20 rolls a year.
Mhm.
So that's no, it's $20 from this one, and it's passive, and that continues. And that's just it doesn't expire after a year. You get that for
Right.
the customer's entire life. So think of like your coffee maker with the coffee pots. Think of your
Mhm.
computer printer with the ink. This is,
Mhm.
it's again, it's the razor and the blade. You have the thing
Yeah.
that's a one-time deal, but then you have all the things that go with it on a recurring basis.
Right. Right. Very, very cool. Okay. Anybody else out there in listener land who has questions for us, Natalie? Yes, no? Listeners?
Hmm.
Um, okay. I think we touched on most of my questions. Anything else that you want to share with people? I know there's been questions about the size of dogs for the size of the machine. So I know that
Mhm.
it seems to be best suited for a lot of people, best suited to toy breeds over or smaller breeds over the length of time, but the machine will hold a large breed dog if you are doing public access training or service dog training or some of those kind of things.
Totally. Well, first off, the machine is really robust. Like you and I can stand on it at the same time and we could have a dance party. Like
No, and no, I'm just going with no.
but the machine can handle no, we have people that breed Great Danes and Mastiffs. use it. Now,
Mhm.
those dogs will outgrow it at some point, and depending on the breed, they may outgrow it soon. But we
Right.
found that all dogs when they're born are yay big, and while they will grow over time, there is absolutely opportunity to use Brilliant Pad for the whelping of all breeds.
Right.
The small breeds that are 25 pounds or less when fully grown, can easily use Brilliant Pad for their entire life.
Yeah.
For medium-sized dogs that are like 25 to 40 pounds, depending on how big they get, and
Mhm.
it's like, what's the turning radius of the dog? How much space do they need to do their potty dance? And they can
A
use it
Basset
anywhere from
potty
three,
dance is
6 to
different than a beagle's potty dance.
12. And that's the thing. We see some dogs that have a really tight turning circle, and
Mhm.
they can
Mhm.
use it despite being big. And then other ones, they need to strut their stuff. So if you have a medium-sized dog,
Mm.
typically they can use it for 6 to 12 months.
Yeah.
And if they're with the breeder through week, say 12 or even 14, that creates 3 months or more to be
Yeah.
the designated potty spot, a strong indoor solution. For a large dog, $40 or 40 pounds or more, it just depends how quickly they grow before they're going to outgrow it. We do have some
Yeah.
larger ones in the works, but again, even
Mhm.
for the whelping stage, the box is
Mhm.
checked, and to have the dog have a place to go for a period of time in the early days, it supports that as well.
Well, I mean, there's most breeders that I know have in the last 10 to 15 years recognized the importance of having potty training in the whelping box. And so they're using chips or they're using little pellets or they're using grass mats or they're using all kinds of things that I have to tell you, having used all of them, are terrible. Objectively terrible. They stink, they make a mess, they're gross. This really does solve all of those problems for dog breeders. I just objectively, it's easier. Sometimes, yes, a puppy will miss the paper part. It's okay. It's plastic. It just wipes right off. And it's still less contact with ickiness than any other option.
I mean, we've heard all sorts of things. Like if you're using paper pads, clearly ours is superior because it rolls it up. But if you're using washable pads, what breeders have told us, how much time we save them doing laundry, how much less money they spend on detergent. People saying, I'm replacing my
How much
washing
less
machine
they
every,
spend on
every 18
replacing their
months.
washing machine. Trust me. This thing is much, much cheaper than a new washing machine, which we just had to buy a new washing machine for the dog room because of all the dog laundry. So I promise this is a lot cheaper.
And for other folks that are using litter or pellets, and maybe they have like a grate that goes over it,
Right.
we've added a grate. There's an optional grate for Brilliant Pad. So if you use a grate in your current setup, there's a grate with Brilliant Pad. So all your
Mhm.
general operation remains the same, just less
Right.
time and less mess.
Mhm.
But I think it's what's really important about the grate. We did not have it when we started. And
Mhm.
we were working with consumers, not with breeders. And that's very different when we
Mhm.
started the breeder program several years ago. And the breeder
Right.
said, Hey, Alan, that's great. It may work in a house with a dog or two, but my professional setup, it's a completely different ballgame. And
Right.
we've had to add a lot of features and accessories to the Brilliant Pad Professional that weren't there when we started. So there's things that hold down the edges of the paper to prevent the dogs from
Right.
pulling and ripping at it. There is a
Yep.
ramp for really small dogs. When the dog is tiny, how does he get up on the machine? Well, we added
Mhm.
something to make that easier. Um, for the dogs that are no for weeks 4, 5, and 6, life is good. Then they get curious and playful, like everything's a toy. So we've had to add other stuff for them. So the nice thing is there's a variety of accessories. We appreciate it's not one size fits all. Every breeder has their own approach. And there's a variety of tools and that work with Brilliant Pad that will let it work in your environment. And if for some reason it doesn't, or it's mostly good, but you wish it did something extra, let us know.
Mhm.
The app wasn't there on day one. That was based on request. The cover to hold down the edges of the paper, that wasn't there until they was people asked us for it. The ramp and the grate, all because of feedback from breeders. So our request is, um, if you need something, you want something, don't fear it's silly and absurd. Tell us, because we continually improve the product. And the thing I'm probably most proud about, the product's really cool and it's gotten to be really good, but our team is fantastic. And what people tell us is your product is great, but your people are better. And if there's something that you need, let us know, and we'll know we're going to do our best to see what we can do with it.
Excellent. All right, y'all. I unless we have any other questions from the audience, I'm going to let Alan get back to his baseball game. So, is it the Cubs or the what's the other one? White Sox? I don't know what's in Chicago.
Yeah. So actually, I'm in Washington D.C. So tonight
Oh,
was
okay.
Baltimore Orioles, but
Not as
this week
cool.
is a series of meetings in New York, Philadelphia, and Washington.
Oh my God. That's fabulous. All right, you guys. Thank you so much, Ellen. We really appreciate you coming and talking to us. I mean, I just think there's so much for people to know about, and we want to make sure we give you the best information straight from the horse's mouth, as it were. So
So thank you
thanks,
so
Ellen.
much. It's been a blast, and I hope we look forward to doing it again sometime.
Excellent. Good night, y'all.